The human ship, Ardent Dawn, moved silently through the dark edge of known space. Its metal skin was scarred from old battles, but its engines burned steady and strong. Captain Elias Rowan stood on the bridge, hands behind his back, eyes fixed on the stars ahead. Humans were not the strongest species in the galaxy, nor the oldest, but they were known for one thing that made others uneasy. Humans did not quit. This sector was forbidden by most civilizations. Ancient signals, lost empires, and strange energy storms made it dangerous. But humans went where others would not. That was how they survived their early years among the stars. A sharp sound broke the calm. "Captain," said Lieutenant Mara Chen from the sensor station, "we are detecting a drifting structure. Large. Artificial. No power readings." Rowan turned slowly.
"A ship? More like a palace," Mara replied, surprise in her voice. "Alien design."
"Massive. And damaged." Rowan felt a familiar pull in his chest. Curiosity mixed with duty. "Bring us closer. Shields up." As the ship approached, the structure became clearer. Towers twisted like frozen flames. Broken crystal panels reflected starlight in strange colors. Parts of it were shattered, as if something terrible had passed through long ago. "No life signs," Mara said, then paused.
"Wait. Correction."
"One life sign. Very weak."
Rowan narrowed his eyes. "One? Yes, Captain."
Deep inside, silence filled the bridge. In space, one life could mean many things. A trap, a survivor, or a responsibility. Rowan made his decision quickly. "Prepare an away team." "I'm going." The docking process was slow. The ancient structure did not respond to hails. Human tools had to force an entry, cutting through layers of unknown alloy. When the airlock finally opened, the away team stepped into darkness. Lights flickered on. The hall was vast and empty. Broken banners floated gently, showing symbols no human had seen before. The place felt dead, but not abandoned. Like a tomb waiting for someone to remember it. They moved carefully, following the weak life signal. Deep inside, they found her. She lay on a raised platform, surrounded by shattered machines. Her body was alien, tall and graceful, with pale blue skin and silver markings that glowed faintly. Her lower body was encased in a broken support frame, wires torn and dark. Her eyes were closed, her breathing shallow. "Medical emergency," said Dr. Hale, kneeling beside her.
"She's alive, but barely. What species?" Rowan asked.
"Unknown," Hale said. "But advanced, very advanced." The machines around her looked like life support systems, now ruined. Whatever had happened here, she had survived longer than should have been possible.
"Can we move her?"
Rowan asked. Hale hesitated. "It's risky. But if we leave her, she will die." Rowan looked at the silent hall, the broken palace, the lonely survivor of a fallen world.
"Bring her aboard," he said. "Carefully." Back on the Ardent Dawn, the medbay became a place of quiet urgency.
Human doctors worked with tools that were never meant for alien biology, adapting, learning, adjusting. This was another thing humans were known for. They learned fast. Hours passed. Finally, the alien's eyes opened. They were bright gold. Panic flashing across her face as she tried to move and failed. Her lower body did not respond. The support frame was gone, replaced by human medical equipment. Dr. Hale raised his hands slowly.
"Easy. You are safe."
The alien stared at him, then at the room, fear and confusion mixing in her expression. Her mouth moved, and she spoke in a musical language no one understood. The translation software struggled, then began to adapt.
"Is my throne," her voice finally said, broken but clear.
Rowan stepped forward. "You are aboard a human ship."
Your palace was destroyed. We rescued you. Her eyes widened.
Human? The word carried weight. History. Stories.
Yes, Rowan said calmly. My name is Elias Rowan.
I am the captain. She studied him closely, not with hatred, not with anger, with curiosity. My name, she said slowly, is Princess Elthara of the Lyrian Star Dominion. The room went silent. Princess Rowan kept his face neutral. Your dominion appears to have fallen. Pain crossed her face.
It was erased by those who feared us.
I was left behind, punished, broken. Her hands clenched weakly. I could not even end myself. Dr. Hale glanced at Rowan, then back at her. Your paralysis, he said carefully. It is severe, but not hopeless.
Human medicine may help. Aelthara looked at him sharply.
Human medicine? Yes, Hale said. We rebuild what others accept as lost. Hope flickered in her eyes, fragile but real. Rowan spoke again. Why were you kept alive? She closed her eyes.
To suffer, to remember.
To be a warning. Rowan felt anger rise in his chest, cold and controlled. Humans knew about cruelty. They had done terrible things in their past, but they had learned, slowly.
Painfully. You are not a warning here, he said.
You are a survivor. She opened her eyes again, studying him. Why do you help me? Rowan did not answer immediately. He looked around the medbay, at his crew working, adapting, refusing to give up. Because we can, he said, and because we don't leave people to die alone in the dark. The ship's AI chimed softly. Captain, long-range sensors detect multiple warp signatures.
Unknown vessels. Mara's voice came over the intercom. Captain, they are moving fast.
Same energy pattern as the weapons that damaged the palace. Althara's breath caught. They have found me. Rowan turned, calm but focused. Red alert, all hands to stations. He looked back at the alien princess, broken but unbowed. They will have to go through us first, he said. Althara stared at him, disbelief slowly turning into something else. Respect, wonder. Humans were not the strongest species, but they stood between the helpless and the dark, and that, she realized, made them dangerous. Far beyond the ship, shadows moved through space, unaware that they were about to learn a lesson the galaxy had learned many times before. Never underestimate humans. The ardent dawn shook as space bent around it. Warning lights flashed red across the bridge. The unknown ships were closing fast, their signals sharp and aggressive. Captain Rowan stood steady in the center of the bridge.
Report. Mara's fingers moved quickly over the controls. 3 enemy vessels.
Advanced weapons. Faster than anything we have seen before.
Are they hailing us? Rowan asked. No, Captain.
They are charging weapons. Rowan nodded once. Then we respond. Human ships were not built to look beautiful. They were built to survive. The ardent dawn turned smoothly, placing its strongest armor toward the incoming threat. Energy shields flared to full strength. Fire only when they do, Rowan said. The first enemy blast struck like a hammer. The ship groaned, but held. Alarms sounded, then faded as systems stabilized. Shields at 92%, Mara reported. Rowan allowed himself a small breath. Return fire. Human rail cannons roared. Slugs of hardened metal crossed space at impossible speed. One enemy ship twisted too late. The impact tore through its hull, sending debris spinning into the void. But the other 2 ships did not slow down. They split apart, moving with frightening coordination. They are trying to flank us, Mara said.
Rowan's eyes narrowed. Helm, roll the ship.
Bring us between them. The ardent dawn moved like a living thing, engines pushing beyond safe limits. Human ships often did that. Safety margins were seen as suggestions. Below decks, in the medbay, Princess Aelfara felt the vibrations through her body. She lay still, unable to move her legs, her hands gripping the edge of the bed. Dr. Hale worked beside her, checking readings, adjusting equipment. "Try to stay calm," he said gently. She laughed softly, a broken sound. "My people ruled stars. Now I cannot even stand." Hale looked at her. "Standing is not the measure of worth." She turned her head toward him. "You believe that?"
I do, he said. Humans lost much when we first reached space. Worlds.
Cities. Millions of lives. We learn that survival is not about what you lose. It's about what you choose after. Aelfara closed her eyes. The words settled deep. A sudden explosion rocked the ship harder than before. The lights flickered.
What was that? She asked. Direct hit, Hale replied. But the ship is holding.
She was silent for a long moment. Then she spoke quietly. "Those ships belong to the Varketh enforcers. They destroyed my dominion." Hale paused.
Why are they hunting you? Because I am proof, she said. Proof that their fear was justified.
My people could shape energy in ways they could not control. They chose destruction instead of understanding. Another blast echoed through the hull. "They will not stop," she said. "If you let me go, they may spare you."
Hale shook his head. That's not how we do things. On the bridge, the battle intensified.
The enemy ships unleashed focused beams that began to chew through the shields. "Shields at 60%, Mara said, voice tight. Rowan tapped the console. "Prepare the experimental drive." Mara looked at him sharply. "Captain, it's not ready." "It will be," Rowan said. "Humans don't wait for perfect. The experimental drive was a human design meant to bend space in short, violent jumps. Dangerous, unstable, but powerful."
Plot the micro-jump directly behind the lead ship,
Rowan ordered. "That could tear us apart," Mara said. Rowan met her eyes. "Or it could end this fight." Mara nodded. "Jumping in 3, 2. The universe twisted." For a heartbeat, everything went silent. Then the ardent dawn reappeared behind the enemy vessel at point-blank range.
Fire everything, Rowan said. The human ship unleashed hell.
Cannons, missiles, energy bursts. All at once. The enemy ship shattered under the assault. The final enemy vessel hesitated.
They are retreating, Mara said, disbelief in her voice.
Rowan exhaled slowly. "Let them go." The bridge fell quiet, broken only by the hum of systems returning to normal.
Damage report, Rowan said. Minor hull breaches.
"No fatalities," Mara replied. "We're alive." Rowan nodded. "Good work." He turned away from the command chair. "Take us out of this sector." Full burn. As the ship moved into safer space, Rowan headed for the medbay. Aelfara watched him enter, her golden eyes sharp and searching. "It is done?" she asked. "For now," Rowan said.
They retreated. She studied his face. You risked everything for me. We risked everything for a life, Rowan corrected.
"Yours happens to matter." Silence filled the room. "My people believed humans were unpredictable," she said slowly. "Dangerous. Too emotional." Rowan smiled faintly. "That's not wrong." She looked at her hands. "If you help me walk again, I will owe you more than I can repay."
Rowan's expression hardened slightly. You owe us nothing.
"Help is not a transaction. She looked up, startled. Then why? Because someday, Rowan said, it might be us lying broken in the dark, and we hope someone would help. Aelthara's breath trembled. Something inside her shifted. For the first time since her world burned, she felt something other than pain. Hope. Dr. Hale cleared his throat. Captain, we've been studying her condition. The paralysis is caused by a damaged neural lattice. It's advanced, but not impossible. Aelthara's eyes widened.
You can fix it? Not quickly, Hale said. It will take time.
Experiments. Risk.
Rowan nodded. Do it.
Hale hesitated.
Even if it means modifying human technology with alien biology?
Rowan did not hesitate. That's what humans do. Aelthara watched them, disbelief growing into awe. You would change yourselves for me? She said softly. Rowan looked at her. We adapt. That's our strength. The ship sailed onward, carrying a wounded princess, a stubborn crew, and a future that none of them fully understood. Far behind them, in the dark, the Varkith ships vanished into hyperspace, carrying fear back to their masters, because now they knew something new. The human race had chosen a side, and once humans chose, they did not back down. The ardent dawn traveled far from the broken palace and the battle zone. Stars drifted past like quiet witnesses. Inside the ship, time slowed into something careful and fragile. In the medbay, Princess Aelthara became the center of many hours of work. Human doctors, engineers, and AI systems gathered around her condition like a puzzle that refused to be simple. Dr. Hale stood beside a glowing display. Her neural lattice is damaged in a way we've never seen, he said.
It's not just broken, it was deliberately altered. Rowan crossed his arms.
Torture. Hale nodded grimly. Yes, they wanted her alive, aware, and helpless. Aelthara listened quietly. She'd grown used to hearing her pain described like a machine problem. Still, the human anger in the room surprised her.
They feared you, Rowan said, more statement than question. They feared what my people could become, she replied.
So they broke us before we could choose our own future. Hale tapped the console.
We believe we can rebuild the damaged pathways using a hybrid system. Human neural mesh combined with her natural energy flow. Aelthara looked at him.
What is the risk? Hale did not look away. Failure.
Pain. Or change? How? She asked.
You may not be the same afterward,
he said honestly. Rowan stepped closer.
No
one is, after survival. Aelthara closed her eyes. For a long moment she remembered her palace before the fire, her people singing in halls of light, her own legs moving freely across crystal floors. Do it, she said. I would rather risk change than remain a ghost. The procedure began the next cycle. She was placed within a medical frame that glowed with soft white light. Thin filaments connected her spine to human-built nodes. The ship's AI adjusted power levels constantly, learning as it worked. Rowan watched from behind the medical glass. He had seen many battles, many losses. This felt different. This was not about defeating an enemy. This was about defying cruelty itself. The first surge of energy made Aelthara gasp. Pain flashed through her body, sharp and bright.
Hold steady,
Hale said calmly.
You're doing well.
She clenched her fists. I will not break. Hours passed. At last, the systems powered down. The room went quiet, except for slow breathing. Hale checked the readings, then looked up at Rowan.
We won't know immediately. Neural recovery takes time.
Rowan nodded. Let her rest. Aelthara slept.
While she rested, the ardent dawn changed course. Mara approached Rowan on the bridge. Captain, we're receiving encrypted signals. Multiple sources. Who? Rowan asked. Independent systems, fringe species. Some former members of the Lyrian trade network. Rowan raised an eyebrow.
They know she's alive. Yes, Mara said. And they are afraid.
And hopeful. Rowan stared at the stars.
Send a message.
No secrets. Tell them she is under human protection.
That will draw attention, Mara warned.
Rowan smiled faintly. Good. Days passed. Aelthara woke slowly. Her body felt different. Heavy, but present. She focused, not daring to hope. Then she felt it. A faint sensation in her legs, like distant warmth. Her breath caught. Doctor, she whispered.
Hale rushed to her side. What is it?
I can feel, she said, tears forming. Just a little. Hale checked the readings, eyes widening. It's working. Rowan entered moments later, alerted by the change. He stopped when he saw her face. She was smiling. You were right, she said. Humans rebuild what others abandon. Rowan nodded, one step at a time. As her recovery continued, Aelthara began to spend time outside the medbay. She was moved carefully through the ship. Seated in a support chair, she watched humans work, argue, joke, and solve problems with stubborn creativity. They did not bow to her. At first, this confused her. Then, slowly, she understood. They respected her, but they did not see her as above them, or below. One day, she spoke to Rowan on the observation deck. Your people are strange, she said.
Rowan chuckled. We've been told you follow no caste.
No birth rule. Even your captain answers to others.
Rowan nodded. Authority is earned and questioned.
In my dominion, she said softly. I was born to rule.
And now?
Rowan asked. She looked out at the stars.
Now I must decide who I am without a throne.
The moment was interrupted by alarms. Mare's voice echoed through the ship. Captain, incoming transmission. Varkith origin. Rowan's expression hardened. On screen, the image flickered to life. A tall, armored alien appeared, eyes cold and sharp. Human captain, the Varketh commander said. You possess property that belongs to us. Rowan's jaw tightened. She is not property. She is a weapon, the commander replied. Return her, and we will forget this insult. Aelthara watched from her chair, fear rising, but also anger. Rowan stepped closer to the screen. No. The commander's eyes narrowed. Then you choose war. Rowan's voice was calm. We choose people. The transmission cut. Mara swallowed. Captain, they're mobilizing fleets. Rowan turned to the crew. Prepare for long-term engagement. Aelthara rolled her chair forward. This is my fault. Rowan shook his head. No. This is their choice. She looked at him, then at the humans moving with purpose around her. My people believed power was control, she said.
You believe power is protection. Rowan met her gaze. We learned the hard way. That night, alone in her quarters, Aelthara tried something new.
She focused on her legs, on the faint warmth she had felt. Her muscles trembled, just barely. She laughed quietly, a sound filled with disbelief. Elsewhere, in deep space, Varkith war fleets gathered. They spoke of humans as reckless, emotional, weak. They did not understand what they were facing. Humans did not fight for conquest. They fought for those they chose to protect. And once that choice was made, they would reshape the galaxy before they let it be taken away. The Ardent Dawn no longer traveled alone. Around it, human-built escort ships moved in loose formation. Some were old, some newly built, but all carried the same signal. a simple message repeated across open channels. Human protected vessel. Do not engage. The message did not stop the Varketh fleets. In the briefing chamber, Captain Rowan stood before a large star map. Red markers filled the display, showing enemy movements. Blue markers showed human allies, and a few brave independent ships that had answered the call.
They are coming in force, Mara said. More ships than we can fight head on.
Rowan nodded. Then we don't fight head on. He turned to the gathered officers. Humans do not win by strength alone. We win by thinking sideways. Plans formed quickly. Human tactics favored misdirection, layered defense, and using the enemy's confidence against them. Traps were placed in unstable regions of space. Old mining fields were reactivated. Navigation data was altered in ways only human systems could manage. Meanwhile, Althara continued her recovery. She stood for the first time in a long while, with the help of supports. Her legs shook violently, but they held. Dr. Hale stayed close. Slow. Don't rush.
I waited too long already,
she replied, breathing hard. Each step was pain. Each step was victory. The crew watched quietly. No cheers, no applause, just respect. Later, Rowan met her in the training chamber. She stood using a frame, her posture still uncertain.
You should be resting, he said.
She looked at him steadily. Should be preparing. For what? Rowan asked, though he already knew. For the end of hiding, she replied. She touched the glowing markings along her arms. My people could shape energy through focus and emotion. The Varketh feared that. Rowan crossed his arms. Can you still do it? Not like before, she admitted, but differently. She concentrated. The lights in the room flickered slightly. Rowan raised an eyebrow.
That's new. Human technology changed the flow, she said. It made it less refined.
More forceful. Rowan smiled faintly.
Sounds human.
The first battle came sooner than expected. Varketh scouts entered the outer trap zone. Human sensor ghosts made them see false fleets. Mines detonated in controlled bursts, scattering formations without killing them.
Confusion spread. Enemy fleets breaking formation, Mara reported.
They're not used to this. Good, Rowan said. Fear makes mistakes. The Varketh responded with brute force, pushing forward anyway.
The real battle erupted near a dying star. Radiation storms made precision difficult. Humans had planned for that.
Release drones,
Rowan ordered. Hundreds of small human drones swarmed, broadcasting false signals, absorbing fire, and feeding real-time data back to the fleet. The ardent dawn moved like a shadow, striking from unexpected angles. Rail cannons fired. Ships fell. But the Varketh numbers were overwhelming.
Captain, Mara said urgently. They're pushing through. We can't hold forever.
Rowan looked at the tactical map, then made a decision.
All ships, pull back, he ordered. Phase 2.
The human fleet retreated, drawing the Varketh deeper into unstable space. Aboard the Ardent Dawn, Althara watched the battle data in silence. Her hands trembled. This will not be enough, she said quietly. Rowan turned to her.
Then tell us what will. She closed her eyes. Memories surfaced, ancient teachings, forbidden techniques.
There is a resonance field, she said. My people used it only once. It amplifies intent across space, but it requires focus and connection. Rowan frowned. Connection to what? To minds, she said. Many minds. Rowan looked around the bridge. Humans stared back at him. Curious, afraid, ready.
You want to link with us, Rowan said. Yes, she replied.
Briefly, it will not control you. It will only carry what you already choose. Rowan considered the risks. Humans were wary of mental interference. History had taught them that lesson. But this was not domination. This was cooperation. "Doctor," Rowan said, "is it safe?" Hale hesitated. "Unknown, but not dangerous by design," Rowan nodded. "Do it." The chamber was prepared quickly. Aelfara was placed at the center. Human neural interfaces connected lightly, carefully. No force, no overrides.
"Begin link," Hale said. The moment it activated, something changed.
Human crew members felt at first, not voices, not images, but intent, a shared understanding. Protect. Stand. Do not yield. Alfara felt it too. Human determination was raw, heavy, unstoppable.
She focused. The resonance field expanded.
Across space, Varkith ships faltered. Sensors screamed with overload. Communication systems filled with echoes of something they could not understand. "Enemy systems destabilizing," Mara gasped. "They're losing coordination." The Varketh commander shouted orders that never reached their ships. Human fleet surged forward. This time, they did not retreat. The battle turned brutal and fast. One by one, Varketh ships disabled themselves trying to escape the resonance. At the center of it all, Aelfara screamed, not in pain, but effort. "Hold on!" Hale shouted. Rowan grabbed her hand.
You're not alone. She felt it then. Humans did not dominate the link.
They shared it. They carried the weight with her. The field collapsed moments later. Silence followed. The Varketh fleet was broken. Survivors fled in disarray. On the bridge, exhausted humans slumped into seats. Some laughed weakly. Others just breathed. Althara collapsed back into the chair, shaking. Rowan knelt beside her. "You saved us." She shook her head. "We saved each other." News spread fast across nearby systems. Humans had not just defended an alien survivor, they had defeated a feared enforcer empire without conquest, without genocide. By standing together, as the ardent dawn moved away from the battlefield, Alfara stood again, this time without the frame. Her steps were slow, but they were hers. Outside, stars burned quietly, unaware that something fundamental had shifted. The galaxy had learned a new truth. Humans did not rule by fear. They inspired resistance against it. And the war was not over yet. The war did not end with the broken Varkith fleet, but something important did change. Fear shifted sides. The ardent dawn moved slowly toward neutral space. Its hull scarred, its crew exhausted. Repairs were underway, but no one rushed. For the first time in a long while, there was no immediate threat chasing them through the dark. On the observation deck, Captain Rowan stood alone, watching the stars. He looked older than when this journey began. Not weaker, just marked by choice. Footsteps approached behind him. Alfara stopped a short distance away. She stood without support now, though she still leaned slightly on a rail. Her movements were careful, but steady.
You should be resting, Rowan said without turning.
"So should you," she replied. He smiled faintly and turned to face her. "You're walking, yes?" she said. Slowly, painfully, but freely.
They stood in silence for a moment. "The Varketh will not forget what happened," she said.
"They will rebuild," Rowan nodded. "So will everyone else." Across nearby systems, the story spread,
Not as propaganda, not as threat, but as fact. Humans had faced a power that ruled through fear and had not asked permission to resist. More ships began to arrive. Independent traders. Small defense fleets. Species that had once bowed quietly to the Varketh now watched from the edges, testing the idea that resistance was possible. A council request arrived soon after. Multiple systems asked for a meeting. Neutral ground. open talks. Mara read the message aloud on the bridge. They want the human captain and the Lyran survivor present. Rowan exhaled slowly. They don't want a war story. They want a future. The meeting took place on a station older than most civilizations present. Its halls were worn smooth by centuries of cautious diplomacy. Aelthara walked beside Rowan as they entered. Her posture was upright now, not regal, not submissive. Simply present. The council chamber filled with alien forms, some familiar, some entirely new. Eyes watched her with curiosity, fear, and something close to shame. An elder from a trade coalition spoke first.
Princess Aelthara, many believed you dead.
Many believed my people deserved it, she replied calmly. Silence followed. Then Rowan spoke. We are not here to accuse. We are here to decide what happens next. A representative from a border system shifted uneasily. The Varketh enforced stability. Without them?
There was no stability,
Aelthara interrupted. Only quiet suffering. Her voice did not rise. It did not need to. She stepped forward. My dominion fell because others were afraid of change. Humans are different. They do not promise safety.
They promised effort.
Eyes turned toward Rowan. We are not your rulers, Rowan said. We are not your saviors. We are your neighbors. And neighbors help each other when bullies show up. The word felt strange in the chamber. Human. Murmurs spread. Another delegate spoke. And what do you ask in return? Rowan did not hesitate. Nothing you wouldn't already give yourselves. Choice. The meeting ended without applause, without ceremony. But something fundamental shifted. A coalition formed. Loose, uneven, real. Not an empire, a refusal. Weeks later, the ardent dawn returned to human space. Crowds gathered at the docks, not to celebrate conquest, but survival. Families hugged crew members. Children stared wide-eyed at the alien princess walking under her own strength. Aelthara felt something tighten in her chest.
They welcome you, Rowan said quietly. They do not know me, she replied.
They know enough, he said. Dr. Hale met them at the ramp.
Your final scans look good, he told Aelthara. You'll continue improving. The neural mesh is stabilizing. She nodded. Thank you. All of you, Hale smiled.
You did the hard part. That night, Aelthara stood alone in a garden dome, surrounded by earth plants.
Green, alive, stubborn. Much like the people who tended them. Rowan approached quietly. You could stay, he said. We would help you rebuild here. She turned to him. And if I leave? We would still help, he said, from wherever you choose to stand. She smiled softly. That is the difference, isn't it? Yes, Rowan said. It is. She looked up at the stars. My people believed leadership meant being above others, watching over them. She met his gaze.
You believe it means standing beside them? Rowan shrugged. It's harder that way. She laughed quietly.
Yes, it is. In the months that followed, Aelthara traveled.
Not as a princess, not as a weapon. As a witness, she spoke of cruelty and of kindness, of a species that chose to help when it would have been easier to walk away. The Varketh did not return in force, not yet, they watched. They learned fear, and somewhere deep in human space, the ardent dawn prepared for its next mission. Humans did not seek to dominate the galaxy. They simply refused to let it be ruled by monsters. And that, more than any weapon, changed everything. The end.